Hi, good morning. It's Paul. So I wanted to do a little update on what we need to do during the preliminary analysis stage. So we've got about a month to work on this, and there's two things that are the outcomes that we have to have from this portion. From the preliminary analysis, your deliverable or your get out of the gateway things that you have to do are you have to have your project proposal report, so that's a written paper, and you have to have a presentation. And the presentation is a video version of your report. So you don't take your entire report, you take the highlights from your report and you make a really interesting 3-minute presentation. So here's what goes in your report, and I called it project proposal. And the reason I call it proposal is at this point we've gathered all the information on the projects. We know what the sponsor intends or what they think they want to do. But before we just jump in and do the project the way the sponsor thinks it should be done, we need to do a little bit of investigation and research and find out if maybe there's some other options that should be considered before we just go ahead. So in your proposal report, the components are you have to have a cover page, and that needs to be something interesting. So if you're working on a control system, you should maybe have some images of a controller or the machine that you're working on. Anyway, it needs to look good. Table of contents needs to be there. The first section is your introduction, and you basically take your project charter and you convert that into paragraph form and you introduce your project. Keep in mind you're writing this paper for someone that maybe has never heard of this project before. So you have an introduction, then you go into your analysis section. So in this case it would be the options that you're considering, your evaluation, and your recommendation on which option we should go with. Should we go with what the sponsor initially thought, or should we propose something maybe a little bit different or even entirely different? So you're the expert, you need to bring that information. Then you have your project plan, and that's a Gantt chart. You can use a Gantt project software to do that. And you need at least 50 items in that Gantt chart. Next is a communication and information plan. That's how you're going to meet, how you're going to communicate, where are you going to get your information, is there some vendors that can provide information, or are we doing it all online research? So how are we going to do that? And after that, you list it's kind of a discussion of your project. So you list your accomplishments, what you've done so far, the challenges that you face. Maybe you can't get a hold of the sponsor. Maybe they're very difficult to get a hold of, or maybe getting access to the site is not easy. So what are the challenges? And the next steps. And lastly, you need a conclusion. Any paper you do or anything you do, you have to start with the start with an introduction, then you have then you have the body of the report, and then you have to conclude it. Even though it's just a short conclusion, you have to somehow conclude it. You don't just stop the report. Okay, so those are the things we need to do, and we've got about a month to do it. So let's have some fun with this. Talk to you soon.